Welcome in, everybody. Before we get into this morning's update, I want to go over a quick synopsis of what's transpiring so far this morning. First, XRP sits at about the 0.746 level. We'll go over the proper technical analysis so that we can see the pattern formation, the short-term technical targets out of the short-term bull flag, and then the longer-term targets if we were to break up and successfully hold the first target. We're going to talk about why Ripple says U.S. banks will want to use XRP in the banks after a partial victory against the SEC. If you're interested, I went over the 34-page PDF yesterday during the live. It took us about an hour and 40 minutes. Went through all 34 pages. So go look in my past videos under the lives. And about 560 of you have watched that. I greatly appreciate that. But today the urgency is taking a look at the XRP technical analysis, seeing how Bitcoin is going to react to that, and seeing where the US dollar is, the DXY to start the day. It was at 99.94, so it stayed under the 1-to-1 for the US dollar. And then also make sure that you're not simply unloading your XRP because of simple gains. We're up roughly 108 to 110% right now from our buy-in, but this is not even close to the overall target where I personally have. And right now, my XRP is not for sale in 2023. I keep getting asked where I'm going to sell it. There is no sale timetable for me in any time in 2023, and potentially it won't happen until 2028. But I'm looking firmly into mid to late 2025 before any such action could occur. This is firmly an accumulation phase for me. And what that means is nothing is being sold. It's being accumulated. Remember, positivity over negativity. If we play the winner, not the victim, we can make successful decisions in the most stressful of times. We keep that positive mindset and we keep that positive momentum. Make sure you hit that like button, and I'll catch you after the intro. Good morning, 9:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, July 17th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, before we get into the technical analysis, I would like to read this first. Ripple says U.S. banks will want to use XRP cryptocurrency after partial victory in SEC fight. Ripple is confident that U.S. banks will start wanting to use XRP for cross-border transactions after a judge gave the firm a partial victory in its fight against the SEC. General Counsel Stu Alderodi told CNBC. A judge ruled that XRP, a cryptocurrency Ripple is closely associated with, was not in itself necessarily a cryptocurrency, in a development with major implications for the digital asset industry. It wasn't a total victory for Ripple, however. The judge also ruled that sales of XRP by Ripple to institutional buyers do count as unregistered sales of securities. Blockchain startup Ripple is confident U.S. banks and other financial institutions in the country will start showing interest in adopting XRP in cross-border payments after a landmark ruling determined the token was not in itself necessarily a security. The San Francisco-based firm expects to start talks with American financial firms about using its on-demand liquidity ODL product, which uses XRP for money transfers in the third quarter. Stu Alderodi, Ripple's general counsel, told CNBC in the interview last week. It ties right into our third quarter, what we've been thinking into September. Last week, a New York judge delivered a watershed ruling for Ripple, determining that XRP, a cryptocurrency Ripple is closely associated with, in itself was not necessarily security on its face, contesting in part claims from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission against the company. And if you want to know more about what happened in that decision from Judge Annalisa Torres in the 34-page PDF, go into my video lives. I did an hour and 40 minutes last night. We went through every single page verbatimly and read it. Ripple has been fighting the SEC for the past 3 years over allegations from the agency that Ripple and two of its executives conducted an illegal offering of $1.3 billion buy of sales of XRP. Ripple disputed the claims, insisting XRP cannot be considered a security and is more akin to a commodity. So it was ruled not a security for retail sale. It was also ruled in favor of Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson that they aren't personally being held reliable, but the institutional investors, sold institutional investors, is the one thing that's still coming under scrutiny. So I don't really want to go over all of this. We've already got this, but that's the news about banks possibly starting to join in the USA, or at least Alderodi thinks they should, or Ripple thinks they should, that they'll be more highly considered. So now let's get into the charts. XRP is down 1.24%, down 0.093. We were up a little earlier. We're a little shaky right now, but we've started to do a little bit of a correction here. If you look at the XRP chart, I don't necessarily like that one. I'd rather use this one for transparency purposes. Once it loads up here, give it just a sec. Here we go. So we drew this out for us yesterday so that we could see what was transpiring here. And if we see the short-term target on a break up, the short-term target should have got us up to about 815. We got rejected before we could get up there. We talked yesterday that we could possibly come back down here first and then push our way farther up. And if we did that, you would basically come up to the 787. But right now we got rejected at the 787. We couldn't push farther. And if you do I like to do these overextensions here and try to keep this pattern. So basically, we're trying to stay under that little corner there. But if we were to break up out of this little formation, we could find ourselves up. Oh, let me get rid of this. I don't know what the hell that is. The technical target up would be $1.08 if this breaks out. If this breaks out and we were to hold, your technical target on this flag would be up to $1.08. I measured it out from a move from 787. Now, if we lose 787, our next lines of support here, and pay very close attention, there's not much, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the 724 that we have to hold. If we lose that, we've got 65.2, and underneath that, we would have to go to the other chart. It's actually like 65.8 or 65.2, but we would have underneath that the 613, which is the breakout of the broadening wedge. So if we're either going to break up or we're going to break down. I don't know what happened to this chart. We're either going to break up or break down. But right now, it's very hard to say exactly what we're doing here. The other pattern is exactly what we're in, what I showed you, but if we're trying to find something different here. But right now, this is trading between, I'm taking that off because the other chart shows the rest. We're trading between that 72 cent, 729 level is very important. Otherwise, below that, you've got 65 cent area and then the 613, which is the broadening wedge support. Below that, you've got 585, which would have been the pattern double top breakout. So we're using this chart in the short term, at least I am, because I've got it kind of in a short-term formation. And if we look at it bigger than a short term, it doesn't look all that great, but right now we're still trying to hold up this formation, and this bull flag could still technically play out. We can start to make this into a truer pattern. I just haven't wanted to switch it yet, but we could definitely come out over here. Actually, I'd probably do it like this if I was doing it, because you've got like a downtrending resistance that is firmly forming here. But we've also got the short-term pattern formation that we've already detected. But that's what we have to break out of, that downtrending resistance. So that 787 is very important. And then you might be able to start pushing over the formations here. But you would have to start breaking out as we go into the bigger time frames. Yes, it looks messy in the smaller ones. But the bigger time frames, we got this all worked out. Right now, we're trying to work this bull flag out of this area and push up to the $1.08 target, because that's exactly what it would be. I'm telling you right now, I'm not selling XRP in 2023. I don't believe you should either. I know this update is clunky with the numbers, but we have to stay on top of the numbers. With Bitcoin, because this is the accumulation phase, folks, and even with Bitcoin, we flipped the Gaussian channel in the weekly for the first time since 2020. I showed it yesterday if you want to get a more detailed look at it. It's a very, very, very big flip. Hasn't happened since April or May of 2020. And this is the formation we're currently on with Bitcoin. We have fallen outside of what you could say is like a bull flag setup, or kind of like a symmetrical triangle. We're just using that for a base. We could have reset this up, and I acknowledge that. But I kind of want to see if it can break out of this or get a rejection here, because if it rejects any farther and we lose the 30,000, that first target down is about 29,280. The technical target on a breakdown of this bull flag would be 25,000 area, 25,194. If you break up, your technical target's 35,040. But right now we've fallen outside of this formation, which we could say is kind of like a symmetrical triangle. I know we could change it up a little bit and start to be like, oh, I think it's more of a broadening wedge. Like it's maybe starting to show symptoms of a broadening wedge. And some people could make that argument. I just don't want to stretch it out there yet. I'd like to see how it forms here. But this bear flag, if it plays out true on a rejection, we're coming down to 29,280. Remember though, in the weekly, the Gaussian channel has flipped here, and that looks like a bull flag. So, and if you'd like to see more about the Gaussian channel, make sure you see my update from yesterday. I'll bring it up later today, but I want you to see the resistance area that we're over right now. And if this bull flag plays out, we've got a target at 35,040. If you got anything out of this update, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel and joining Tom's Army. It's a great way to show your support and pay it forward. As I do no paid advertising, paid promotions, or paid sponsorships of any kind, because I want you to have a free advertising experience. And then if you're looking to trade your favorite XRP or crypto, video description below and the pinned comments, FEMX. There's a lot of offers right now up until July 21st. And they never go down. When we had that volatility, FEMX stayed up. And in the USA, you don't need to do a KYC. So make sure you're staying positive over negative. Positivity over negativity. Please hit that like button and share this to friends and family. And do not let go of your XRP.